Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk to you about my time in Phuket. I got back from Phuket 3 weeks ago now, and I was in Phuket for nearly 7 weeks, from the 24th of December till the 9th of February. I arrived in Phuket after spending some time on a yacht in Australia. Flew via Perth, which was horrendous, must have been one of the cheapest flights ever. Had to sleep on a bench overnight, was awful, but then got to Thailand on Christmas Eve, went straight out, was out until like 5 a.m, had the best night ever. I'm going to start by telling you about one of the most unique things about Phuket that I experienced, which was the best thing about my time there. Just this feeling of like every day I would wake up and meet someone new in that day. I had like nothing planned, and I would go out and I would just meet someone, I'd make a new friend and keep in touch with someone. I must have met like dozens of people by the time I left my time there, and all really good people. Had such a fun time there. And I just haven't experienced that anywhere else, to meet that amount of people in such a short time. And I know a lot of people meet people traveling. I've never really done the traveling thing. I like to usually stay in one place, although it's something I'm going to explore in future, is to go to more places. But I did have that experience. All I would say is that a lot of the people I did meet came through my hobbies, came through jiu-jitsu, came through salsa and developing that community. But I did also meet other people out at bars, through my accommodation and just randomly as well. So that's the first thing. I stayed in Chalong, which is in South Phuket, and I stayed in accommodation, which is like a guest house. I suppose there's several rooms in a 4-story block. I was on the top floor, which wasn't ideal. There's a lot of stairs, but it kept me fit. And it was a nice 1-bed apartment with an ensuite and or a studio apartment, I should say. And it cost 20,000 baht per month, which actually was on the higher end of what I'd experienced in Thailand. I've been to Thailand before, and I stayed in Koh Tao for 5 weeks, and I also worked in the southern part of Pattaya, and I was there for 2 months. And rent generally in those areas was a lot cheaper. In Koh Tao it was half as much. And remember, utilities aren't included in this. Utilities for the month was about 3,500 baht, which is around 100 euros. So we're looking at about 750 euros in rent a month, which is quite high for Southeast Asia. So that is one of the downsides to staying in Phuket. And Chalong in the southern part of Phuket is actually one of the cheaper areas to stay in than Bang Tao, for example. So this was a bit more than I was expecting, to be honest, but it was peak season because of the time of year that I did go. But I would say to anyone that's going to go to Phuket, if you're going to go for a long period of time, you should definitely stay in the Chalong area or Nai Han, but close to the beach. But Chalong is definitely going to be cheaper, and it's quite a nice place to stay because it's kind of in the middle of everything. So if you're going to go to like Fitness Street, then maybe you want to stay on actual Fitness Street, which is about 10 minutes from where I stayed, because I stayed more towards the side of Chalong that's closer to Nai Han on Patak Road that comes down from Patong. Fitness Street is going to have your like Muay Thai gyms, the most famous one being Tiger Muay Thai. Personally, I prefer Jiu-Jitsu, and I have done Muay Thai in the past. And probably if I was going to go to Phuket and do Muay Thai, I would go to Tiger. So that can be a good option. And I imagine on Fitness Street that it's probably great to meet people. But overall, like, this is the place where you're going to find the cheapest accommodation. Another advantage of staying in Chalong is that it's close to the pier, Chalong Pier, which is where all the boat trips go from. And there's a large selection of beaches in the southern part of Phuket, not so many in the northern part. So that's kind of an initial overview of my time there. My daily routine pretty much fell into this real relaxing routine where I'd wake up about midday, 1 p.m, and I'd go to either the beach or the spa. I really like the spa. I went to a spa called Water Lily Spa, which was 300 baht. You could literally go, if you wanted to, you go from 9 a.m. till midnight, and it had a bar, a restaurant. You didn't have to bring any cash with you around the pool. You just paid when you left. And I actually met quite a lot of people at the spa, mostly just chit-chatting. I didn't really like kind of maintain any contact with people there, but it was a good place to chat to people. I think I met like one person I kept in contact with from the spa, but I'd often then go with my friends and then no, actually not one person. It was more than one person actually, maybe like 5. So yeah, I met quite a few people at the spa, which was good. I think it's a great place to meet. Personally, if I'd have known about this earlier, I would have gone to Zima Spa, which is more close to Nai Han. It's a Russian-owned spa, and it's absolutely incredible. It's 500 baht, and it's only for about 2 hours. So if you wanted to go for a longer time, it wouldn't be great, but the quality level of the spa for 500 baht was insane, and I only discovered it in the last week. It also has a Russian banyo in there, which is really cool. Like, it's a very specific type of sauna that I'd never tried before, and I quite liked it. Anyway, I digress. So I would go to basically the beach or the spa until sunset. If I was at the beach, of course, I would watch sunset, but generally, like, if I was at the spa in the sunset, and I'd be like, okay, you know what, time to go home and have a shower. And then I would go jiu-jitsu if I was healthy, although I was partying for 2 weeks and I was sick for another 2 weeks. So in the 7 weeks, I only got to do like 3 weeks of jiu-jitsu, which sucked, but it was at the best place in Thailand, which was PGA. I'll go into more detail about that later. Then I go to jiu-jitsu. I probably usually eat dinner at Ali's Barbecue in Nai Han. And then I'd go to salsa, which, again, if you're going to come to Phuket to do salsa, it's the best place to stay is Geelong, because all of the salsa events are between Geelong and Nai Han. So if you want to do salsa, it's the best place. Then I would go to after party at Coconut Rawai, which totally deserves a mention. I must have been to this place like 20 times. They have a live band there. They're all Filipino. They're really good. The lead singer is incredible, and they let you come up and sing with them, which you'll see all over my Instagram. And it was great fun. And I met actually quite a few people in there as well, quite a few Westerners. It's generally an older crowd, but I don't know. Thailand is just such a melting pot, and it's hit and miss everywhere. Then after the after party, if I was really keen, I would take my scooter and I'd go all the way to Patong. Generally, like in Thailand, after the first 2 weeks, I stopped drinking. I don't drink that much. Like, once I drink like a lot for 2 weeks, I'm gonna drink maybe once a week. But after that, I almost didn't drink at all for like 5 weeks. So I'd go to Patong, and what I realized, like, because Chalong's like a bit of a village, like after like 1 a.m, it's completely dead. It's not really a party place. Is that I would be like, I just need some stimulation. I just need to be around a lot of people right now, because, you know, I'm waking up late in the afternoon because I didn't really want to do like a lot of stuff there in the daytime. And then I would go there just to have something stimulation, just to have like stuff going on around me. Sometimes I would just literally drive there, walk up and down the road a few times, you know, and then go home. And I liked it. And that would probably take me like 3 hours, and then it'd be time for bed. The other thing I did, which kind of broke this routine, was occasionally I would do like some kind of like day trip somewhere, or like go to the mall. I did do a boat trip on New Year's Eve, and I did it, which was on a catamaran, which was great. And then I did a long tail boat trip another day. Go into more detail about that soon. Okay, so more detail time. It is more detail time. So more detail about salsa. Salsa is organized by mostly by a lady called Kati, who's on my Instagram, and a Russian guy called Sergey. So they basically do the alternating kind of nights. The best time to dance is definitely Saturday night at Lucha Cantina in Geelong. That's by far the best night in the week. It ended up being quite dead. I think I was very lucky early on. There was a lot of people doing salsa and a lot of people I was getting along well with. And then after that, a lot of people left, and there wasn't a lot of tourists coming through that I got on well with. So in the beginning, it was great. Although the thing you really need to know about the classes and stuff that's going on in salsa, like, you can dance every night except for Monday, and there are classes, but the only high level classes for like more advanced or intermediate people are bachata. There are some salsa classes, but they're very basic. So I didn't go to any classes. So yeah, it's a bit of hit and miss because of the high turnover. On a note on salsa, I also went to the Latin Notion Festival in Bangkok. Generally, like, I've been to like a few festivals, only like 3 or 4. It wasn't very good, and a lot of people said the same. Personally, I wouldn't bother rushing back. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I realized I don't really like dancing with small Asian women who are old. So like, I danced with like 2 people in the salsa room. All right, not 2, maybe 10. There was a few nice women there, but it was mostly an older crowd, as well as dancing usually is. So it just really wasn't my vibe, and it wasn't a lot of people's vibe, to be honest. So that's kind of salsa in a nutshell, but it's a really great community in general. And a lot of the expats living there are like a lot of fun. I made a lot of friends. Like, I can't complain. Overall, it was good experience. The other big thing for me that I wanted to go into more detail about was jiu-jitsu. I mean, on that note, I actually met Dricus Duplessis one night. It was my birthday, my 33rd birthday. I met Dricus Duplessis, which was interesting. But the really cool thing about staying in Geelong is I actually stayed on the same road where Phuket Grappling Academy is, which is PGA. And for 1 week you can pay 2,000 baht to go there, which is about 50 euros, or for a month it's going to be 6,000 baht. Generally it's pretty high level in there. The open mat's a bit crazy and it's full of a lot of Russians and Dagestanis. Generally didn't like, a few of the Russians were great, but like a lot of them were like, they just go way too hard and have no concept of like temperance. But overall, like pretty cool gym, and the Russians kind of kept themselves to themselves, and it was kind of like an invisible line. But like the coaches there are great. Mohammed and Ben, the owner, definitely learned a lot from them, and had a really good time on the mats in there as well. I just want to talk about like the people I met in Thailand and what Thai people are like. So one thing that I really like about Thai people is they do have a great sense of humor. They have like quite a physical comedy sense of humor. And they pick up really well on body language. They're very good at like reading you. I think because of the language barrier, they manage to figure out how to communicate. They're incredibly friendly Thai people. And a lot of people say this, like a lot of people travel over Southeast Asia and realize just the friendliest people are in Thailand and probably Philippines as well. So that's lovely. One thing that really surprised me is how many Russian people were in Phuket. And apparently this has been for obvious reasons, there's been a change that's come in the last like 7 years or so. And I've met a few Russians before, but not so many, especially now they're not allowed in Europe. And so I hadn't really formed an opinion on Russians, didn't know a lot about Russians. My opinion of Russians now is like, they are incredible people. And I feel like they're somewhat like British people, but from like 70 years ago, where they're kind of like, they're not like, they don't necessarily come across as the most friendly people, but they're very intelligent. They're quite reserved. They're generally just like, you look at them, you're like, these are quite smart people. And I guess because obviously in the Salsa community it was a bit like that, but they're just so like, they're just full of common sense, you know, which is like what I'm all about. Like the way they view the world is quite similar to me. Like they view the world in reality, not through like these kind of like woke like veils that has like become a bit of a social contagion in the West. Because unfortunately these kind of views that like woke people have of totally luxury beliefs, but when you come from a country like Russia, there's no such thing as luxury beliefs. You see the world for really exactly how it is. So that's one thing I loved about Russian people. And I'm glad I stuck around for long enough, because I wouldn't have come to that conclusion had I only been there for a couple of weeks. It definitely takes a while to break the ice with Russian people, and also just get used to how they communicate. It's very different. Like I found, like I barely spoke to some people, and then found out actually they really liked me later on through other people, but you just wouldn't know that from them because of the way they are culturally. And actually that's kind of nice, you know, like you compare it to maybe American culture when you think they're your best friend and they're slagging you off behind your back. I'd much rather the other way. So that's Russians for you. Very impressed with Russians. What would I do differently next time? It's quite funny because the number one thing I wanted to do my time in Phuket was go to James Bond Island, and I didn't go. So I am going to go back to Phuket at some point, only for a very short time, and I'm definitely going to go to James Bond Island. Secondly, I wish I'd have accepted this idea of this sabai lifestyle that everyone talks about. Sabai just means relax in Thai. You'll see it on a lot of massage places. And one thing someone pointed out to me is like, people go to Thailand to relax. That is why people are in Thailand, and it's so true. It's hard not to do that there because the whole infrastructure is, you know, the whole industry there is set for you to go and have a relaxing time. So in that case, I wish I just accepted that if I'm going to go to Thailand, I'm going to be relaxing. And in the end I did. And honestly, it became like almost like a psychedelic experience of doing that for 7 weeks. I like having no agenda, no appointments. That's exactly what I did. And that's why I didn't book really any trips or anything like that. Besides, they are kind of expensive. I just wanted to totally switch off, and I did, and it was incredible. I wish I'd spent more time on Fitness Street. It's definitely a big thing for Westerners to do there, and I didn't. If I were to go back now, I would spend more time on Fitness Street. And I would have visited Chiang Mai and Krabi. I'm coming back to do Chiang Mai and Krabi. I went to PP on a catamaran trip on New Year's Eve. It's great. It was 2,800 baht. I had a great time. The guy that did the tour was fucking incredible. So funny. But I would definitely want to go back to Chiang Mai and Krabi. One good thing I didn't mention is in yachting, I meet a lot of people that travel, been all over the world. They tell me the places to go. And all of them said that went to Thailand said go to Phuket. A lot of people have also said go to Krabi and Chiang Mai, and I don't know why I didn't go. Like, I am gonna go at some point, and I honestly think now, having been to Phuket and seen how expensive it is, even though it's good, it's a bit too pricey for what it is. I think Chiang Mai and Krabi are probably a bit cheaper, and I think that's why it would be also a good place to visit. But next time I go to Southeast Asia, definitely going to those two places, and probably go to Phuket for like 3 or 4 days. The biggest surprises that I experienced overall is that it's not as cheap as I expected. People in Australians also have no concept of stuff outside Australia. So anytime someone says something about somewhere outside of Australia that's Australian, take it with a pinch of salt. They said it's like Australian prices. It definitely isn't. I mean, Australia is pretty reasonable, but it's not like Australian prices. But it is a lot more expensive than I thought. Alcohol is very expensive, so if you don't drink, it's actually not as expensive. Activities are expensive, so if you live like more sabai like me, it was okay. Accommodation is expensive, and that's a bit hard to get away from unless you're going to stay in a hostel. Don't recommend it. I really prefer having a studio. And finally, I guess I'm going to come out of the closet as a passport bro now. Didn't realize I was going to be one of these guys, but after seeing the way the Western world is going, it's hard to see dating in the West anymore. This is probably totally out of the blue and probably going to surprise a lot of people. But yeah, I think I might end up becoming a passport bro. I'm looking at like going to South America, all these countries I wanted to go to anyway. And I'm realizing actually one of the biggest things is like I like dating girls, and they're unbelievably beautiful in Latin America. I think what I realized about Thai women is like they're very funny, but there's too much cultural difference to have a relationship with Thai women. Unfortunately, I just couldn't see myself with one. But Latin America, I already speak Spanish. It could be possible. I've also met and been on dates with like Latin American women before, and it's gone very well. And culturally, like they're like British women were in the 80s and 90s, not woke, and happy and appreciative. So yeah, I think that's a big announcement, passport bro. Biggest tip is to hire a scooter while you're there. It's about 600 baht per week. Get an IDP, which is an international driving permit, so you don't get fined by police. I got fined 2,000 baht, but had I had the IDP, it probably would have been okay. Otherwise, use Grab and Bolt for taxis. You can get scooter taxis around for like $2 a trip. It's so cheap. My budget for this trip was between, I lost track, but it was between 6,000 to 8,000 US dollars. So I had a really good time, as you can imagine. And I don't know where it went, but it was a bit expensive to stay there. Visa-wise now, Thailand have extended their visa since I was last there in 2024. You can now stay for 2 months instead of 1, and then you can extend via payment without leaving the country for 1, but apparently after that you have to leave. I don't know how long for, maybe 9 months. Whereas if you do 2 months and then do a border run and come back, you can do that continuously and you'll be fine. Border runs usually cost, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 baht. In Phuket, it's not too far to the Malaysian border, which is helpful. That is my review of Phuket. Overall, had a really good time, met some amazing people. Guys, if you're watching this, I've never met this many good people in such a short time. I have made some friends that I know I'm going to be friends for many years, if not for life. And I don't say the BFF thing for life that often, but I did really meet some amazing people. And although like everything wasn't, incredible in Thailand, there were so many good things. And one of the best things about Thailand is like anything goes in Thailand. No one's going to judge you for whatever your beliefs are, whatever you want to get up to. And if anything, they're going to support it. So my advice is if you're going to go to Thailand, 100% you need to visit Phuket. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you for watching.